our differences with the minority party have been expressed very clearly. I think I know that we would prefer to govern with them, but we are also steadfast in our obligation to get the job done with or without them, and that's what we did tonight. And it's not perfect because there's still a deficit, but boy, oh boy, from 26.5 to under 5, doing it alone, I think is pretty good. But I wanted to say at the end to not focus on the differences so much, because I really, in my heart of hearts, and I know that I'm part of the institution, so obviously I have a perspective, but I believe that this institution is a great institution, and for all of our flaws, we did in fact deliver, and we have consistently delivered in some of the most historic circumstances that have ever, and historic and difficult circumstances that have existed in recent California history. My predecessors, and they've all great pro tems in the past, never faced this sort of a fiscal crisis. Neither has Senator Leno's predecessors as budget chairs, and yet we're not only still standing, but we have turned a corner, and we just have to keep going.
Do you think Republicans missed a real opportunity for reforms?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they can spin it any way that they want. The truth of the matter is, Democrats were ready to offer significant concessions on spending cap, on CEQA, on certainly on pensions. And by the way, we will still do pensions on our own.
And regulatory
reform. And it was right there. And the only thing that prevented them from doing it was the fact that they don't just sit on their hands, they sit on their pledge. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, the pledge, and the pledge and the repercussions apparently in voting for even a 4-month revenue bridge is too much. They fear the repercussions, and I don't feel necessarily sad for them. I feel sad for California because there's so much more that can be accomplished together. But it's not, we can do our best, which is what we've done. With them preferably, but without them if necessary.
Senator, what are your plans for your local tax measure?
I don't know yet. I think I want to have some more conversations with...
Could still go forward, though.
Yeah, I want to have... it's the first year of the 2-year session. I want to have some more conversations with the Speaker and with the Governor and see at this point. I think it's a very valid, legit... I think it's a very important measure, but I want to make sure that it's successful.
Is it as necessary as you thought it was, given that this is continued here?
I still prefer a statewide solution. Now we have to discuss whether or not our own bridge to November of 2012 is enough. Let Senator Leno answer.
To follow up on what you had said, a question that California voters might be asking is, who is Grover Norquist and why is he having his way with the state of California? And with regard to the new dynamic as a result of the passage of Prop 25, it's going to take a while, I think, for our Republican colleagues to figure out what their role is. And in democracies historically, the loyal opposition plays a very important role, and it's beneficial to the majority party as well as to the entire state that there is a strong participating loyal opposition. And it's going to take a little while to get their sea legs and to figure out how they can serve themselves, their constituents, and the state best in this new environment.
Hurt feelings with the governor?
Yes. I still, on behalf of my colleagues, don't like the way things went down on June the 16th. But, again, to the credit of my colleagues in the institution, we forged ahead and continued doing our jobs. We did it on June 15th. We continued to do our jobs. And, in the end, we came together with the governor and, lessons learned, but we're looking forward to continuing to work with him and get good things done for California.
Where are you going to bring forward the reforms? Why weren't they part of it?
Well, because we are going to do pension reform by the end of the session, certainly. But I think one of the first rules of politics is that, you don't. A deal's a deal, and you don't reward. You don't reward folks who choose not to participate, and so we believe pension reform is important on its own merits. But it didn't have to be part of passing this budget. It has to be done by the end of the session.
And there were no budget solutions to be scored by any of these
That's correct.
proposed policy changes. So we'll do them for the sake of the policy changes, but it wasn't to balance the budget.
Thank you, guys.